Can you believe it? Can you believe it? My chives are that big already. Like, look at that. That's huge already. Ready for the first harvest. And then I got a free plant. It was creeping under the fence all the way back over there where I've got my tomatoes. I'll show you those in a minute. It's creeping under the fence and I went, ooh, free plant. So I dug it up and put it here. I think that's a lily of some sort. It'll be a surprise. Not quite sure, but these chives are looking good. It smells pretty good too.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining. In this video you will see a little bit of just an update. It's the week after Easter in April. So you'll just see a little bit of an update as to what's growing, what's been successful with the trials of the covers that I tried, and what needs a little bit of tweaking, and what I will be doing, I think, again next year. So next year I will definitely use the frost fabric. This is one of my favorite things. Almost everything that I planted under here after the storm is starting to come up. Some of the seeds did get moved around because it was a windy storm, and you see how you saw in a previous video how the hoops kind of got destroyed. Won't be using the hoops again, but I will be using the frost fabric. I do like that, so if I'm just going to find a different way to secure it. I'll also be using this in the fall for all of my fall planting as well, because we do have kind of the same weather in the fall, only it's backwards, so it slowly gets colder and colder and colder. And so I want to keep the plants in as long as possible, even in the fall, use it as sort of like a refrigerator of sorts, you know. And so we're going to try that as well, instead of harvesting everything like all on the same day or like all like right away. So we'll be doing that as well, and you'll see later on in this video I'll talk about the other two as well, and what was successful or semi-successful and what failed. But that's the beauty of trying these things, is to learn what works in your area. So in your area, the things that failed here in my garden may not have maybe a huge success in your garden. It all depends on what your temperature is, what your environment is, what your springs look like, right? Here, because it's so windy, those big hoops do not work. I need something that's low to the ground, something that stays low to the ground. So I'm going to be doing some more research on that, also on winter sowing. So next spring I think I'll be doing a bit of a hybrid between the two that were semi-successful, and see if I have better success that way. So from here on out, it's just how to improve on what kind of worked this year, and how we can make that even better for next year. But yeah, enjoy the video, and I'll see you later. Ciao.
We've just been doing a lot of cleaning, but these are the tomatoes. I've had them out now for, what time is it? I think it's been about 2 hours now, 3 hours maybe. So the tomatoes, and then some of the flowers. Yeah, let's not talk about this. The leeks. Yeah, we just won't talk about that. And then all the other flowers there. The mint is coming back with force. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of mint. That's looking real good. It's very matted, very thick, and it goes all the way to the end. So that's pretty cool. So that looks so much better than it did before. All the way along here. And then I just leave my tomatoes here, and anything that I'm hardening off I just kind of leave right there. So that's cool. And I have a bin of strawberries that sits right here, and we'll be putting that in place actually fairly quickly, maybe tonight when Ryan gets home. And yeah, I've got my garlic coming up over here. So we've got lilies here. I'll be pulling those up today. I'm going to separate those and give them to the girls who have claimed them. My garlic, that's the hard neck over there, and then the soft neck is behind it. You can see the difference in the leaves. It's kind of interesting, hey? The darker are the hard neck, and then the lighter are the soft neck. And then that over there is also garlic. That over there is just a marker so that I know that the, what are they called? The raspberries. The raspberries are from that marker on that way under all that mulch. Although we are kind of trying to get rid of those raspberries, so we'll see how that works out. And I still have to clean this out. I did take a lot of the mulch off, but there's still quite a bit on here, and so I'll be taking that off this weekend. And then I've got my thyme that's still growing there, and I think probably in the bottom somewhere in here I'll have some cilantro growing, or maybe it just tried to grow and it didn't make it. So we'll see what happens with that. And the leftovers from the parsley from last year, so I'll be cleaning all of this out, and I'll be using this whole bed here. I'll back up so you can see the whole thing. I'll be using this whole bed here for like an herbal sort of tea garden, anything you can use for tea or for herbs. And then the garlic seems to be doing really well in those areas, so I think I might just continue that. Because, yeah, it's the first year I've ever grown garlic, so I wasn't sure if that was going to come back. I'm super happy about that. So, yeah, that's the front part of the back garden. We'll take you to the back now. So you can see the wood chips all the way through the walking paths here. So that'll be really good for controlling and managing the weeds. It's the whole point in these. They're so nice and easy to walk on. I can also walk on here right after a rain and not get all muddy. I just love that. I can't remember which gardener I was watching on YouTube that does this, but whoever you are, way to go. Amazing. I just planted a bunch of onions under here. We'll have a peek under here and you can see kind of how everything's going. The radishes are looking really nice. I think the biggest ones here they're not the French breakfast, they're the other ones. I can't remember what I planted back there, but I don't think any of that's growing. But the rest of it is. And I keep them up like this now because during the day it gets so stinking hot. It's cooking under there. It's like super hot. So I keep them like this just so they have a little bit of ventilation under there and they don't cook for during the day. And then as the sun goes down, I'll take this out and I'll put them on top just so that the wind doesn't take these things off and, you know, they can die from that. But I still have all three of them. They're all growing something. So they're all somewhat successful. I've got my peas in the back there. I'm going to get so many peas this year. It's going to be crazy. There are a few weeds there, but I want to wait and see what's a weed and what's not. This is the one with the beets. You can see that's a beet right there. Those two there. Those are the golden beets, and then there's a red beet there. So you can see a couple of red beets there. You can see a couple of other beets. The germination on these did not do so well. I'm not entirely sure as to why. I've got a spider on me. Look at that guy. Here, let me see if I can get rid of him. There you go. He can do his thing. More onions under here. And this is the one with the lettuce. So we've got lettuce in the front here. You can see the three different kinds. Right, so let's see if I can hold this. So that is the romaine. That's that red one that's over here too. We've got the red one right over there. And then this is that last one. I'm not sure what that was called. However, it's kind of weird because I planted the lettuce in rows this way, but only these sprouted. I think that's all weeds back there. So that's interesting. I find that very interesting. It could be because the sun comes up beyond this fence and the neighbor's shed over there, which is like literally right on the property line. And so the sun comes up here. These get the first sun and then the rest of them, right? So the sun the shadow line would be here and then it would start to recede, right? Might be because of that. I'm not sure. Not 100% sure why that. It's kind of interesting. This lettuce here, I've been protecting it with my lovely sheet with a giant hole in it because, you know, free, right? So this lettuce is doing quite well. You can see that I've had some snacks, even more than the first one. Every now and then I'll have to grab a leaf and just sample the goods, you know. There's a lettuce right there too, one of those red ones. So that's really cool. These are all romaines here, and then these are all the drunken woman ones. It's kind of weird that some of them are more red than others. I only started 2 kinds of seeds indoors. And I find it interesting that even with the same kind, these are the drunken woman, some are like that, and some are like that. Same package of seeds. These ones are a little bit reddish, a little bit not. I don't know. But they're doing really well. I can see a change every day, which is really, really good. I just hope it doesn't get too warm for them to bolt right away. So that is it for this bed. I still haven't planted anything in there. I've just used it as the catch-all for everything, but that will be cleaned up any day now, and I'm going to be planting that soon. This also has not been planted, so we'll leave that. I planted an Aunt Molly's ground cherry here. We'll see. This is a trial. I've got extras inside just in case this one doesn't work. But first year I've tried them, first year I'm growing them. We'll see what happens. And then more beets. I'm not sure if you can see these on camera. These ones are not growing very quickly, and I think it's just because of the cold. However, from last week to this week, yeah, that one there was the one that I think I showed you last week. I don't know. Not sure. They're not really growing very quickly, but they are growing. I am seeing a change. Let me just get this plastic out of here for just a second. This is the golden beets over here, and you can see them throughout there. You can see them kind of popping up throughout there. This part of the trial did not work. I think this is probably too thin. This is the dollar store cover. I think this is too thin. During the day, it would let so much heat in, and at night it would let so much cold in. So I think that's it's just not going to work out for me. So I'm not going to try this again. However, I did like these hoops, so I think I'll buy a few more just for the hoops, and I'll probably just put that frost fabric on because that frost fabric is divine. I love it. Some thyme that I started inside, the green over there, and then there's a little guy right over there. And then coming around here, I've got a nasturtium just kind of sitting in the corner here. Thought I'd try planting that guy. And I'll be covering these ones tonight. Tonight's supposed to be like -2. I'll be covering these ones with the sheet, so the rest of that set that's over there, I'm going to be using that for these, because it seems to be doing a lot better than that plastic over there. So that's kind of what's happening there. In here, I've planted more. However, the carrots are coming up. I know you can't see them really well. Here, let me try let's see if we can just peek in here for a bit. You can see all the green. Not sure if the camera's picking the green up. Yeah, there it is. So that is all the carrots. So I've got carrots growing here. I've got radishes here. I planted some more poppies there. I've got broccoli. I've got beets. So the beets are back there. Broccoli in the middle. Carrots on this side. Peas. The sugar snap peas are all coming up already. And the other ones, the bolero ones, I'm seeing one growing. One was just coming up. So I'm going to give them a few more days before I replant those. I've got under this guy, I shouldn't have tucked it in yet. I should have done the video then tucked it in. However, I've got some zucchini growing in here. I planted onions. Oops. Planted onions right along there. Let me just put that rock back before I forget. There, so the zucchini's here, and there's one just beside that stack, like right there. And then I've got onions growing right down the center here up to this. And then I've got the broccoli is coming up here and there. They're like the tiniest things so far. I've got 2 bunches of peas, so I've got a little circle of peas there and a little circle of peas there, and I'm going to build like one of those teepee things to kind of let them grow up on, so that'll give some height to the garden here. And then I've got some more broccoli, purple and green sprouting broccoli, and then I planted a sunflower right in the center there. So that's kind of where we're at right now with the garden. Mostly everything is coming up, so I just want to keep it covered. I want to keep it growing. I don't want to kill it. I did all this work. They should all be growing. So let's talk a little bit about the mulch. I took some straw off of there when I was planting. The mulch here is from a local arborist. We got it delivered for free. I just went on Facebook Marketplace. And you just need to be careful when you're asking for mulch for your garden, because there are a few species of trees that you don't want in there. They're toxic to your garden. They'll leach toxins into the dirt. They're just not a good tree. But all you need to do is just let them know this is going in the garden, and we don't want any varieties of trees that will harm the garden or the plants. As expected, I did get seeds in the straw. I kind of knew that, although the guy did say that there were no seeds. Y'all. So yeah, this is the time of year where it's so warm during the day and you just want to get in the garden, and I just cannot wait to see all of this just growing real nice. So far it's going really well. I've had very few plants that have not come up, or very few seeds that have not come up, and I've had to resow maybe a handful. Not very many at all, which is really, really cool. In the back here anyway. Over there, that's a different story. We've got some work to do. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I can't wait to show you this garden when I'm done cleaning it up. I've just got little bits of stuff, but as long as we still have freezing weather, I still need that cardboard. I still need all this stuff. So once the freezing weather's gone, all that will be cleaned up and we'll see plants and seedlings coming up, and I'm just so excited for that. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to see more of these and to follow along this garden journey. Next one will be planting potatoes. So that's going to be fun. Potatoes are the next thing on the list to put in the ground. I'm not sure where I'm going to put them though, because I'm planting too much of everything. So I don't know, maybe in the ground over there. I don't know. We'll see. I'll figure it out. So in the meantime though, have a great week, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.